The crystalline mountains of Dracor 7 had never seen a human before Lena Cross arrived. The mining colony had warned her about venturing beyond the perimeter, but Lena had always been drawn to the unknown. As a xenobiologist, she understood that discovery required courage and sometimes a bit of recklessness. The distress call came not through her communicator, but through the air itself, a high-pitched keening that made her chest ache. Lena had studied enough alien species to recognize a cry for help, regardless of what throat produced it. She adjusted her breather mask and followed the sound deeper into the violet-tinted forest of towering crystal formations. There, wedged between two jagged rocks, was something that made her heart stop. A dragon hatchling, no larger than a house cat, struggled against the stone trap. Its scales shimmered like liquid mercury, catching the light of Dracor 7's twin suns. One wing was bent at an unnatural angle, and the creature's golden eyes were wide with terror and pain. When it saw Lena approach, it released a tiny burst of flame, barely enough to warm her gloved hands. "Easy now," Lena whispered, crouching low. She'd read the preliminary reports about Dracor 7's apex predators. Dragons were supposed to be myth, relegated to humanity's ancient stories. Yet here one was, real and suffering. The galaxy had learned to fear humanity for many reasons: their stubborn refusal to surrender, their innovative weapons, their ability to thrive in impossible conditions. But there was another trait that made humans truly dangerous: their irrational compassion for creatures that could easily destroy them. Lena carefully assessed the situation. The rocks had shifted during a recent quake, trapping the hatchling's wing. She pulled out her plasma cutter, normally used for mineral samples, and began carefully slicing through the stone. The baby dragon watched her with intelligent eyes, its crying reduced to soft whimpers. "I know it hurts," Lena murmured, working with steady hands. "But you're going to be okay. I promise." 15 minutes later, the hatchling was free. Lena gently examined the damaged wing, bruised and strained but not broken. She applied a regenerative gel from her medkit, designed for human injuries but effective on most carbon-based life forms. The dragon nuzzled against her palm, purring like distant thunder. That's when the sky darkened. The shadow fell across them like nightfall arriving hours too early. Lena looked up and felt her breath catch. Descending from the clouds was a creature of impossible majesty and terror. Queen Thalira was enormous, easily the size of an orbital shuttle, with scales that gleamed like polished obsidian and eyes that burned with ancient intelligence. Her wings blotted out the suns and the ground trembled beneath her landing. Every instinct screamed at Lena to run. This was an apex predator, a queen protecting her young. The colony's warnings echoed in her mind. But Lena stood her ground, placing herself between the hatchling and its mother in a gesture that was pure human instinct, protecting the vulnerable, even from their own protector. Queen Thalira's massive head lowered, her breath washing over Lena like a furnace wind. One snap of those jaws could end her existence. The dragon's eyes narrowed, examining the human who dared stand before her. Then, Queen Thalira saw her child, unharmed and healing, nuzzling against the human's leg. What happened next would become legend across the galactic community. The great dragon lowered her head until her snout nearly touched the ground. It was a gesture of profound respect, one that no human, no being had ever witnessed from Dracor 7's rulers. Queen Thalira's telepathic voice resonated in Lena's mind, ancient and powerful as the mountains themselves. "You saved my child. You who could have fled. You who could have left her to die. You stayed, though you knew I would come, though you knew what I could do to you." Lena's voice shook but remained steady. She needed help. That's all that mattered. Queen Thalira's laugh rumbled like an avalanche. "The other species speak of humanity's violence, their conquests, their wars. But they do not speak of this, your strange compulsion to save what others would abandon, to protect what others would flee from." The Dragon Queen rose to her full height, her presence commanding the very atmosphere. With a delicate movement that belied her size, she plucked a scale from her chest, a scale that glowed with inner fire and pulsed with ancient magic. She placed it in Lena's trembling hands. "This is the Dragon's Covenant, human. You and your kind are now under the protection of my flight. Any who threaten humanity on this world will answer to dragon fire. Your compassion has earned what your weapons never could: our alliance." The hatchling chirped happily, fluttering its healing wing. Queen Thalira gently scooped up her child, cradling it against her chest. But before she took flight, she fixed Lena with one final piercing gaze. The galaxy fears humanity because you are warriors, but we dragons respect you because you are also healers. Remember this, Lena Cross. The greatest strength is not in destroying your enemies, but in choosing mercy when destruction would be easier. With a powerful beat of her wings, Queen Thalira launched into the sky, her child safe in her embrace. Lena watched them disappear into the clouds, the dragon scale warm in her hands. When she returned to the colony, the scale clutched to her chest. She found the Dragon Queen had been true to her word. The dragons that had once been territorial threats now circled the human settlement protectively. Trade routes that had been dangerous were now safe. And on distant worlds, when other species spoke of the humans on Dracor 7, they spoke not with fear but with wonder, all because one human girl chose compassion over caution, and one Dragon Queen recognized that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their guns or ships, it was their inexplicable, stubborn refusal to let others suffer when they could help. The Dragon's Covenant became the foundation of an alliance that would reshape the sector. And it all began with a crying baby dragon and a human girl who couldn't walk away from someone in need. Because that's what humans do. They save the vulnerable, they protect the helpless, and sometimes they earn the respect of dragons.